up, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see what we got in the chat today. Tyga, Algo Trading, Sherbert, Digital Nomad, Igor, Saul, Crazy Eddie, Harris, what up? Shahir, Cheryl, Julian, Samuel, Tom, Franco, Bo, Wolf, what's up, everybody? Amy, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good morning. There's a lot of you in here, so I apologize if I don't get to you. A lot of you guys in here, but hope you're all having a good morning. Hope you had a good day yesterday. Hopefully it was a good learning session. Yesterday's live session, I think it was really, really good overall. And let's see today. I'll get it started here. If you can like the video, get it to 100 likes, then I will start the video or the live stream. I think we have an interesting outlook on today. At least I do. So it should be an interesting day. Overall, it's NFP week, right? So per ICT and the protocol that he sets out for us is typically Monday through Wednesday. You want to be done by the AM session, Wednesday trading session for the week. That's typically what he's advising all of us to do. Some people follow it, some people don't. Do I follow it? It does depend. It's situational. For the most part, I would say being out of Thursday would be ideal. NFP can actually be pretty clean for, I hate to say that, but for somebody who's more experienced and knows what they're doing and can sit on their hands and be patient, NFP can actually be decently fruitful. But as a newer student, I would follow his guidelines and his rule sets. So I'm just saying that before we get the video started, so everybody knows what we're doing today. Okay, we're at 125 likes. So let me get this started here. How's the mic sound? Good? I don't want to have any complaints today about the microphone or anything like that. One. Okay, I'll take the one. I just want to see if my mic was good. Good? Cool. Thank you, Will. Not a sheep. If my buddy Jack is in here, he can ask him. We were actually fishing for catfish. He loves fishing, so he just took me with. Like I said, the main point of that obviously wasn't fishing. It was just to emphasize the idea that you don't need to be glued to these charts all the time. It's not needed. Okay, so let's start here. There's a few things on the agenda that I'm looking at going into today. We have a news event driver, which is 30 minutes after the open. So A, I'm waiting for that in general. B, I want you all to take a look, or I'll do it on the screen here, to look at dollar index. So this is how I know I haven't been able to use dollar index really that much over the past few weeks here. But since we're starting to actually collapse lower in here and move lower, it's a significant move lower, which is going to have a significant, excuse the noises, it's going to have a significant impact on index futures. So if this is moving lower, you have to anticipate what? Higher prices in index futures. So if you're ever in a trade idea, you're trying to get a bias, you're trying to get a narrative, and dollar index is moving a certain direction, you have to anticipate the opposite in index futures. So look at all across the board, ES, NQ, YM. They're all moving higher. So you have to use this with certain criterias and confluences, but this is a huge indication. That's the reason why I utilize it, and I constantly look at it. But if it's recently, if it's of no use, then I don't put it in my regular trading. But currently it is, right? So we have to keep watch on that. I would like to believe that overall, dollar index is probably going to want to seek these lows down here. That's could be the next couple days, could be a week, I don't know. But as far as drawing liquidity goes, that's where I'd be looking at on dollar index. And specifically today, this low here that will probably run out here shortly. So if this is going lower, we'd have to look at NQ and all the other ones and anticipate possible higher prices. So what would be the argument for that as far as just technically it goes on NQ? Well, if we go out to our weekly time frame, what did we do yesterday? We dropped down into this weekly bullish order block here, and specifically the mean threshold, and we're moving away from that. So the weekly is the parent. And this is a weekly parent PD rate, and we're dropping down into that. And what was yesterday? Tuesday. Tuesday is typically the low of the week. In a bullish profile, we drop down into it. Mean threshold, the parent weekly bullish order block. Drop down into the daily. We drop down into a reclaimed inefficiency here. Now we're starting to expand higher. If you look at the lows on Dow made a lower low, while NQ and ES failed to make a lower low. So that's a bullish S&T divergence. So do you see what I'm doing here? What I'm doing is I'm creating a bias. I'm creating a narrative for myself. CJ, can you make a video over bias and narrative? I just did it for you. I do this every day. I did this yesterday. So as we open, I want to highlight something real quick. Not that I'm going to be trading until the news event driver, but I want you all to keep a watch on these relative equal highs here at 18,191. So that pool of liquidity here is what I'd be looking at. But going back to the main point, I know there's probably a lot of people who are eager to do something. If you're new here, I don't do anything to silver bullet. So I'm discussing the options and what we have on the board today, the agenda. I'm getting my roadmap. I'm discussing the GPS. If you don't know where the hell you're going, if you don't know where you're supposed to end up, then obviously taking losses is probably going to be a common theme for you. But this is what I do every session is I sit down and go, okay, where is price going? Where is it likely to lead into? What's the certain arguments for it? And if I can have a clear one-sided argument, then it's easy for me to know the GPS, know the direction. And all I have to do is plug in my model and target the draw on liquidity. So right now, draw on liquidity to me is 18,191. If it tags it before the silver bullet, then so what? I'm sure there'll be more upside today, or there'll be some type of entry pattern for me to get into the market. 1 hour time frame. So we do have relative equal lows down here, but what would be, again, the idea of why we could leave this here? Well, if dollar index is moving off lower and we have a bullish S&T, we've moved into higher time frame bullish PD rates on the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour. Well, not specifically 4 hour, really the daily and the weekly. Those are the parent time frames. So those are going to oversee the child time frames. And if they want to seek higher time, or they want to seek higher prices, then all these will submit to it. So I know my younger self would look at this and say relative equal lows, we've dropped off so much yesterday, we have to target that. No, that's not true. I'm looking at intermarket relationships, I'm looking at S&T to give me my bias. So it's very, very useful. That makes sense, everybody? Hopefully that was clear. It wasn't confusing. Is the NQYM SMT have the same strength? No. ES and NQ, I would mainly look at those. YM is, I mean, it could be useful, but it's situational. So what I would like to see is obviously get above this inefficiency here. And I'm looking for these highs here. I think it's a really clean draw on liquidity, to be honest with you. Yes, we have our RTH gap from yesterday. I will probably look to target as well. Yeah, we have a news event driver at the 10 o'clock hour, so have to be aware of that. Currently, we have this inefficiency here, the 15-minute time frame. Kind of getting above. If we get above it, what does that turn into? An inversion. We can utilize that as a potential area to go long. Yeah, even if this tags it by the silver bullet or within the news event driver, it's perfectly okay. I'm sure there's going to be higher prices. There's going to be other things I can look for. Eventually, I think up here would be another draw on liquidity. Check the chat. Can you repeat the S&T part? I guess I don't know what I forget what I was even talking about, to be honest with you. I mean, as far as SMT, this is a really harder one to spot. But you have a higher low here, and then you have a lower low printed in Dow. Right, so that's a bullish SMT between the three. So look at the low from Thursday, February 24th. Dow is getting beneath it. ES and NQ both failed to make that lower low. So you couple that with a daily time frame inefficiency bullish, a weekly order block bullish. You couple that with a bearish dollar, that would negate the idea of me wanting to look for lower prices. Unless something changes throughout the session, then I would have to look at something, different. But currently, that's what I'm looking at. And then you say, all right, well, if I'm bullish, where's the draw on liquidity? Well, I see relative equal highs here. So this is the part that always trips me up. Well, what's saying about lower time frames that's different? Okay. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, if you look at 15-minute, 5-minute time frame, it's bullish, is it not? Higher time frame, bullish. Lower time frame, bullish. If you're looking at a 1 minute, yeah. I'm really hoping for a trade today. I hate saying hope. It'd be cool. Because to be honest with you, I want to demonstrate and illustrate how you can only take one trade in a week and you can get a large portion of that, and that's all you need. You don't need to be constantly pushing every single day. You don't need to be scalping every single run in price. The last 2 days, to me, I really haven't seen my model. I haven't seen a high probability area for me to execute on. I've been content with that. Even last week, I didn't trade Monday or Tuesday. It still came out profitable. I think it's a huge emphasis. I really try to do my best to emphasize that. I don't think people, I guess, have experienced that to where you could literally take one trade in a week and be more successful than 90% of the industry. I wanted to bring up yesterday too, the payout system, or the percentage and the statistics of funding companies, like the amount of trades that are placed within like funded traders. I forget what it is exactly, but I believe most of them are taking 1 to 2 trades, like maybe 3 or 4. I forget exactly, but it's a very low amount of trades per month to get a payout compared to the people that end up, failing those funded accounts. It's a huge difference in the amount of trades that are taken. So it's no coincidence. Like the things I talk about statistically, when you look at people who are profitable, it makes sense. You put on some music. Yeah, if you can hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. I forget about it now. Pepsisto. Yeah, I mean, it's a very low amount of trades. I'm telling you, like the most profitable traders they're not out here day trading all the time. Like I don't know where this illusion has come from. Social media, I know. What I wanted to make note of too, this down close candle here, that is a bearish breaker. So I know if I start saying this, people are going to get confused. Currently, I'm looking for higher prices, but if something becomes switched to where that argument is no longer valid, and we just start dropping off lower here, a news event driver comes out, we drop off lower. Okay, well, I have to look at the other argument and go, all right, well, why is that? So I talk about keeping your mind open to both ideas until you're really, really confident in one side, then execute on the idea. But as far as a bearish bias goes, right, that argument, is we have a bearish breaker with a bearish inefficiency here. So we could return up into it, potentially sell off, but I don't see the argument for it currently. I would like to see higher prices. But if that's wrong, if the news event driver comes out and we just drop off, get lower prices, then okay, well, I know why that is. You have to always be looking at, there's never 100% like, without a doubt in my mind, we're going higher, we're going lower. I mean, that's just a fallacy. That's the reason why I always keep the options open. I mean, there's always two sides to the story. But at one point, you have to gather enough information to make a solid trade idea and just execute on it. And if it fails, and then so what? Now, if you look at this pattern in here, what is this pattern? That's a bearish breaker pattern. Specifically, that pattern right there. A high, a low, a higher high, and a lower low. Justin, did you try out that coffee? It's pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty energized off of it. It's not as good as like the actual cans, I don't think. We don't consider 4-hour FEG. I don't. If you're gonna ask about certain PD rates, please at least be specific about it. Whether it's buy side imbalance, sell side. I gotta know. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit more chilled with this coffee. Like I don't even really feel like speaking, to be honest. Until I see something, I mean, I'm a little worn out from the last 2 days. I've spoke a lot, and that's mainly because I knew I had an influx of viewers, so I had to at least be in a teaching mode and talking a lot. But I mean, regular audience, you already know what I can do. You already know for the most part, unless you have certain questions and stuff like that, I'll answer it. So, same thing as the 4-hour. This down close candle, that would be your bearish breaker. So you can set it out to your right. I'm electing to believe we're going to see higher prices. The amount of information I'm looking at, that would point to that idea. Amaran, I think that's just a bunch of fluff to sound like you're smart. Not you, but measuring gaps and breakaway gaps, and it's all. Again, I don't ever utilize it. It's not needed. I don't even think people really know what a measuring gap is. If somebody tells you that, I think ICT's talked about a measuring gap like a very few handful of times. Yeah, actually, I don't know. I don't even know. That still makes me cringe. I don't know. I wish he never named it that. It's such a cringe name. Not a sheep. Go back through the beginning of the video. What up, Luke? So we have an RTH gap that's beneath us. We also have one yesterday that's here. It's a little too much for me to really try to utilize right now. I would just focus on price. I wouldn't focus too much on RTH. Benjamin. That's a crazy breakfast. I just put in a Zin. Yeah, I'll go trade it. I'm not even really looking at chat. Like, I know my personal opinion. I know what I'm rolling with. I don't really care what anybody else says. So I'm kind of just being quiet today. Feels nice not to talk so much during a session. Like, I've been doing this for how long? I don't know, 2 months, 2.5 months, man. I am reaching a point where I want to stop doing this publicly, if I had to be completely honest with y'all. I enjoy it, I do, but I don't know when I'm going to stop this. I believe shortly here. Only other bucket list thing I have is ICT to join the stream, but I don't think that's going to happen. Workout Warrior, I mean, yeah, I've been doing this for 2.5 months. I mean, if anything, I'm going to start a private group. I've never hid it from anybody. I want to start a private group, that way I don't have to deal with people, man. Like, again, I mean, I should be paid for the information I teach. I mean, if you have a problem with that, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it sucks though too, because there's a lot of people that, you know, I'll miss in here that were cool, but I mean, it is what it is. You don't want to pay for it. There's no issue. Yeah, the reason I'm not really talking or doing much. We have new Zoom driver in 12 minutes, so I'm just kind of just messing around on the chart right now. I have a direction and some spots I would like price to go, but right now, new Zoom driver can snap out and anything can happen. So I'm not trying to force anything upon it. I'd rather just chill out and wait, and once the news event driver plays out, then we'll see what happens. See what price can give us. I don't see a reason to push in a spot like this. 6 years. What did I don't know why traders doubt themselves. It's a sell for real. All right. Thank you. I'll go ahead and place a sell. Thank you for your signal. Workout worry, yeah, it's an absolute shit show. Like I said, I'm not charging arm and leg for it, and like I said, I've done this for a particular reason. I've shown a track record. I've done this for 2.5 months live in front of people. If you have an issue with it, I mean, take it up with somebody else. I'm not going to convince you. Yeah, accident. Told you. I told you it was going lower, dude. All right, well, just there's a nice YouTube button that says go live. You can click on the go live button, and then we'll all watch you trade. Yeah, I mean, again, if they're calling trade ideas in my chat, I don't understand. Like, I wouldn't understand why you're here then. If you already know the trade ideas and things you're supposed to be doing, I don't know why you're here. You're confusing people more than helping. Didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, there'll be an announcement for it. It's not going to be like blindside. Well, business, if you'd like me, you would stop typing in the chat TPs and stop losses. I know what I'm doing here. Thank you. You're all right, man. Again, if I don't have an issue with any of you, just think about yourselves if you're live streaming and somebody was in your chat doing that. I mean, yeah, I mean, my personal belief in anything I've always done is, especially news event drivers, I'm not entering in for the position. That's my personal style. That's my personal set of risk and what I'm comfortable with. If you're comfortable with that, I don't think there's anything flawed with it. It's just, to me, I don't want to. I've seen it too many times personally where I've entered in before a news event driver and I've been stopped out, and I was like, well, what was the point of me doing that? I could have just waited for the news event driver to play out, and then I could have picked an entry after. I think it's a lot better probabilities of doing that rather than me entering in before it. Even if I'm really, really confident, I mean, it's, again, this goes back to patience. I'm patient enough to wait for it. I'm content with it. If it leaves without me, okay, then so what? My life's not ruined. Luke, 39. Probably not. Thomas, it's a good question. I just personally don't want to go off on it. I think they're both. I'm gonna keep my tongue today. If they don't live trade in front of you, don't trust them. I'll put it at that. What's your model, Tom? I mean, I have multiple models. I have a video over it on my YouTube channel labeled charter member models, so feel free to go over there. I mean, there's a lot that go into a model. A model is just a skeleton. It's just something that you can look for, a framework, but there's multiple things that outside of it that I'm utilizing. Intermarket relationships, SMT, time. There's a lot of things. A model is just a model. It's just a skeleton. People think that models are end-all be-alls, and but it's not. There's a lot more that's required. Dark Ghost, no. I think that video is confused a million times more than just basic market structure. My bias is fluid currently. I don't have a bias. Like, I have certain draws on liquidity, but once this news event driver plays out, then I'll see what happens. I was a lot more energized yesterday. I think it's taken out of me. Probably a good thing though, because I don't even know how many viewers are on right now. Yeah, normal. Yeah, that's like a question. Starting to get to it. It's a very wide topic. I have my B adjust on and I have the set off, so that's what I have on. If you look at that topic, there's really no clear answer. ICT has said both. I swear they put that in there just to confuse people. There's about 1 minute until the news event driver, and then I will actually start really looking for something. Sure, but I do appreciate that. It means a lot when people actually thank me. Some people do take it for granted. This damn line. Go down into a 1 minute here. A couple old new week opening gaps there. Paper trading, appreciate it. Paper street, did I say paper trading? I mean, what would make me weary of trying to push overall shorts on this is dollar index is dropping heavily off lower. So again, when people ask about what's my model, what's the narrative? Well, I'm looking at things that aren't even on the chart. Like, that's what ICT means. It's like, I'm looking at dollar index and utilizing that as a confluence. If dollar index is dropping lower, I can't be willing to try to push this thing off lower. Mods, I appreciate that. You know, I mean, I try not to let all the comments get to my own head, but yeah, it is true for the most part. I mean, if you're wondering about certain influencers or who's this or that, I mean, just ask yourself the question. If they're claiming to be as good as they are, and they show the entries that they have, why don't they live stream? That's a simple question, right? Why don't they live stream and where's their track record? It's two very valid questions to have. I mean, if somebody's going to charge you money, you better know that they know what they're doing. Yeah, Mats. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I'm definitely reaching a point of I'm kind of over it. What I'm doing is I just don't trust a certain direction right now. I don't really care what anybody else thinks, but I see both sides of the argument right now. I just until I see a clear side, I'm not going to make a decision. And again, I don't want to short with dollar index moving lower. So, it's my personal opinion. That's what I'm looking at. If I see a clear run, a clear direction, like we really want to start dropping lower in here, then I'll get on board with it. Obviously, we are dropping a lot lower, but I want to see some certain areas, how they react. Pentance. I mean, I can trade before it. I mean, overall, it's really like this is the last day I would really want to be trying to push for a trade overall NFP week. Like these type of weeks can be highly manipulated. It can be hard to trade in. That's the reason ICT states the certain rules that he does, because they are difficult to trade in. It's the first week of the month. You have NFP. You have certain factors at play that can make things difficult for you. So if you're a newer student, it can be highly manipulated. You know, at one point you think it's going higher, at one point you think it's going lower, and it's like, okay, well, if you're not experienced enough to sit on your hands and wait for certain things, then you're going to get caught off guard. Casper, that's funny. I'm around. Yeah, it was like, I don't know, 2,000 in total. Yeah, I can still ask him questions and stuff. I mean, again, he's a busy man. If he's not gonna get to me, he doesn't get to me. I can count on my hands how many questions I've asked that dude. If I asked him something, it was worthwhile. It was something that I wholeheartedly did not know the answer to, and I needed an answer. Not, what's your model? Not to say it's a bad question, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, RTH gap. Completely closed it in. I just find it an odd drop. Like it's to me, I just find it an odd displacement lower. I don't know how else to really put it. More or less, I'm just kind of sitting still quietly, not really talking, because I don't want to give anybody the idea to do anything. This person what I'm looking at is just sitting still. Yeah, Tom. Again, the comment wasn't asked at you, or wasn't directed at you. Yeah, Casper. I mean, if people would like the video, but I get so sick and tired of asking about it. Well, if you don't like the video, it is what it is. I'm not even looking at how many people are here or whatever. I see that more money. Thank you. Want to meet you. All right. Just a normal dude, man. I don't know, Justin. I think I need more of this coffee. Maybe I just feel tired. Yeah, probably SCW. Or S2, whatever. I mean, there's nothing in here I would have taken a trade on, so. This is what happens with, at least, and again, it's hard for me to convince people, like, this is my own trading style, but when price is moving a lot, it doesn't mean you missed anything. It doesn't mean that because price moved a lot, that I should have been a part of it. There's a huge difference. Oh. When you get SMT like ES not having taken the London low, it makes you choose between ES and Six Sister. It just depends on the profile today on the day. I mean, Six Sister is always going to have an SMT, but you need to know the overall draw on liquidity. Do you believe that's going to follow through with it or not? Again, the reason I'm not trying to short this is due to dollar index. I trust my experience. I trust that dollar index, the things I've been taught. Dollar index is moving off lower, which it is significantly. I'm weary of trying to short this thing. So that's what my experience is telling me, to sit still, regardless, even though we moved off lower. And if I'm wrong, then so be it. I mean, if you look at YM, ES and NQ are fairly in sync with each other. YM, not so much. It's a correlation. It's inverse correlated. Jones, I like the last name. Or I like the first name. It's my last name. Yeah, it can. I mean, Fed speaking, it's not always easiest. Well, yeah, Trevor. I mean, this year it's been consolidation for last 2 months, so it's been hard to utilize it. But if you've been through some months and some years with it, it is a good thing to utilize. Jose, yep. Ah, really? Very cool. Jones is a, I love the last name. So again, I think some people, in my mind, they're trying to chase this short. They're trying to sell off this inefficiency in here. I'm looking at dollar index. I'm seeing it's dropping lower, so I have to disregard it. There's certain factors that I would disregard trying to short right now. Again, we've talked about this before many times. You have to draw the line in the sand somewhere. To me, I'm drawing the line in the sand currently as I'm not looking to short. I'm going to elect to sit on the side until I can see something clear to where if I wanted to go long, I could do so. Yeah, right, Nico. Well, Natalia, if DXY is going lower, that means that index futures are going higher, right? It's inverse correlated. I believe from here, I don't believe that dollar index is just going to take that sell side liquidity pool and revert higher. I believe it has a lot more room to drop lower. What I forgot to do. This is not a displacement candle to the upside. I mean, it can be. To really help you secure, especially if you want to know, all right, is something changing from bullish to bearish, especially I got a 5-minute. This SIBI in here, if you close above it and this turns into an inversion, that's telling you it's changing its state of delivery. Like, that's why I don't look at market structure shifts. I don't look at that. I'm looking at inefficiencies. Is it disrespecting a bearish one and then climbing above it and treating it as support? That's telling me it's changing from bearish to bullish. I could have what I would call a premature entry. It would be a good overall risk to reward entry is where I'm entering down here for a long. But to secure myself, to make sure that I'm not being too premature on it, because the thing could sell off from here, even though I don't have that bias, I have to be open to the idea it could because we're still inside of it. The best thing for me is to wait for it to close above it, telling me it's changing its state of delivery, and then I can continuously, see where my model prints. Exactly. What arrays are being respected, what are not being respected. And I'm being very careful. I understand like the profile of this week it can be very manipulated. That's the reason why ICT states these things. Like right now I'm not paying attention too much to the chat. There's so many different opinions and this and that. But I know the back of my hand these weeks, especially when you roll into halfway into it, it can be highly manipulated. So at one moment it could be selling off and everybody thinks it's short, and then one moment it rips higher. So I'm being very, very cautious. It requires a lot of focus and attention. Ah, I just marked this up backwards. LOL. Actually, I want to do this. So this is what I would call like a premature entry, is because even though I can see the setup where we have the inefficiency here, we have the inversion there, waiting for that 5-minute to close is the parent. That's the parent inefficiency. So if it closes above the 5-minute, it's letting me know, all right, well, we're really starting to change delivery. That way I'm not getting caught trying to long in here and this thing collapses. And if it starts to collapse lower, I could still get in sync with it. It's like, okay, cool, maybe I was wrong on that idea. Okay, if there's an opportunity for me to short, then I could short. Like, I know it's a lot of back and forth for some people, but it's the way my head works. It's kept me profitable for a long time. When is he supposed to speak? Is he speaking right now? I didn't really look. As if you listen to CJ and observe what he's doing, trying to tell you. Exactly, Rista. Thank you. Yeah, I am very nimble, and I'm okay with that. So people aren't, and they want to be superstars and all-stars, man. I don't care. I just want to be very nimble, get in and out, do what I need to do. And he's speaking now. Yeah. So again, I'm being weird. Like, there's news event drivers right now on the day. There's NFP week. It can be highly manipulated. I'm being very, very nimble today. Like, I'm treating him. I'm not talking a lot either because I'm trying to really maintain focus. And I don't feel like, if somebody's probably wondering this, I don't feel any type of way about missing this type of move. It's a confirmation move to me. It's like, okay, cool. Let it move higher. Because if I'm going to overall be targeting this high up here, there's still a lot of meat left on the bone for me to get a trade in here. I'm sure in this upper portion here, there's going to be an entry. So waiting for this to close above it, confirm to me, it's like, all right, cool. That's a really good confirmation. Some people may look at that and be like, you know, I want the best risk reward, and that's fine. That's nothing wrong with it. Next, I saw your question. I was trying to read it. I don't know if you just misspelled something. Do you mean edge by tilt, like getting upset and angry? Trust me, I've dealt with it. I've discussed it. But yeah, I mean, that's another reason why I don't trade a lot, because if I have a lot of trades, I have a lot of engagement in the market, I'm opening myself up for a lot of my flaws and the things I know can go really wrong within myself very quickly. Like, it's the reason why I keep my frequency really low, because I know myself very well. Like, if I open myself up to a lot of risk, a lot of frequency within the market, I'm opening myself up to a lot more emotions, a lot more things that can go wrong. So if I'm able to dial that back, not only am I protecting my capital overall, but I'm protecting my mental capital. Like, I talk about mental capital tokens and how much are you spending within a day, within a session, within a week. Like, I know I only have so much. If I spend them and they're gone, I mean, that's it. If I go into a session, I'm probably blowing the account. I mean, that doesn't happen to me anymore because I'm very, very particular. I'm nimble within my setups and what I want to pick. Well, Franco, there's a difference. Like, yes, it could be inside of a premium from that dealing range high to the low, but you could also look at the inverse dealing range where you dropped into a discount from this dealing range low up to that high, where it dropped into a discount. So even though we're inside of a premium, if you looked at that swing here, you dropped into a discount on a higher time frame, the parent. So it's going to want to expand through the lower time frame premium. Depends what time frame you're looking at and what's really on the board. Did you become profitable before? I can't see the whole question. Before or after understanding that about frequency? I mean, it took a lot of work to understand myself. I had to go through so many blown accounts, so many blown challenges, and so many losses to figure out myself. Like, it really was myself. Like, again, the concept is never the concepts or the strategy. It's always yourself. It's always the user who's screwing the whole thing up. So you have to find what works. Like, you have to fit your personality within these concepts and figure it out. This is just what I've figured out works best for me. I know what my personality is. I know my faults. I know my weaknesses way more than my strengths. I know them like the back of my hand. I know how quickly I can go on tilt. because I'm a perfectionist. I'm overly competitive. So to keep me from tilting and doing stupid shit is by keeping my frequency low, keeping my engagement low. Those are the two things you can control. I can control my frequency and I can control my risk. I can't control anything else. So if I have those in my pocket, then I know, all right, well, if I can control that, then I can control really my tilt. I can control my emotions. Because the more you engage with this market, the more losses you have. You start to accumulate emotions. You start to accumulate tilt. You start to accumulate fear. But if you kept all those low and the engagement low, everything low, then I'm not pissed off. I'm not fearing and missing a move. That's the reason why I'm just so chill, because I'm keeping as much frequency and risk as low as possible. I think many of you are probably like me. Like, we're all the same when it comes to trading for the most part. We always want to be right. We never want to lose. We get pissed off when we lose. We're overly competitive with ourselves or with the market. So it's all across the board for the most part. Yeah. And I mean, another thing that's helped me with tilt is putting a third-party drawdown limiter. It's like, once I'm reached my max loss for the day, I can't go back in the market. I'm tapped out of my account. I can't even access it, because I know I'm likely to just make more mistakes than even correct the loss. Like, I'm not in the right state of mind to do so. Like, the whole thing of just turn off your PC and walk away. Well, when I'm on tilt, politely I'd tell whoever told me that to go fuck yourself. I'd be like, I'm not doing that. I need my money back. So it's not a healthy mindset. It's not something you want to be doing. Francis, love to hear it. It really is a great book. Certain platforms have it. Rhythmic, I have it. Tradeovate has it. As far as if you're trading like MT4, I know you can buy like a third-party thing that you can install. It's not the great, because you can take it off, which I've done. Like, you install it, but if I can manually take it away, then I would do it. Even in the session, I would get pissed off and be like, I'm just taking the drawdown limit off. But if I can't touch it, if it simply locks me out, I'm handcuffed. I can't do anything. No, it's free. Yeah, Luke, his YouTube is amazing. What's the bias? My bias is fluid. I'm gonna stop answering that, and I don't mean to be rude. It's I hate that people come in here and they're just, what's the bias, and let me just get in line with what you're thinking. It's like, that's not the point. You're supposed to be learning and then figuring out the bias for yourself. When it's 50-50, what does that mean? It doesn't mean you're stupid or wrong. It means that you should just be waiting for more information. Being 50-50 or being neutral is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that you're uneducated, you're dumb, the concepts don't work. It just means that right now you don't have enough information. So what's the other option? Let time do the work for you. Let time play out so you can get more information and make a valid decision. Digital Nomad, I don't know what that effect is, to be honest with you. Like, I've been taking a trade all week, and I'm perfectly okay. If I don't take another trade today, I'm okay with that. People would lose their freaking minds. But if my model isn't printing, if something isn't, and I hate when I say that, because now I just got that question, but if the conditions are not right there for me, then I'm not pressing into the market just because I have to take a trade. Who says I have to take a trade? What's the best outcome? Either taking a bunch of losses or you take no trades for the whole week. What out of those two options, which one would you like? I would much rather just take no trades and have no loss for the week. Like, some of you believe that there's no way you can possibly lose and every condition every day is right. That's not true. Some weeks you may not get an entry. Some weeks you may not get a trade set up. I'm sure if I forced myself into the market, I forced myself to get lucky, I'm sure I could do it. Gamblers get lucky all the time. But I'm not in the business of getting lucky. I'm in the business of following my rules, my strategy, the things laid out for me. And if it's not there, I don't do anything. And I don't get upset about it. It doesn't mean I should change. Doesn't mean, it just means that the market did not meet me where I wanted it that week, or that day, or that session, whatever it was. Beefcake donut. I want to say congratulations, but 469 attempts, my brother. I mean, my goodness. I mean, congrats, as long as you can make that money back. Tom, I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely I would encourage you to go back to all my live streams. I mean, today I'm a little bit more chill, to be honest with you. It's probably the most chill I've been in terms of just talking. Usually I'm just yapping all the time. I mean, that's a good point off of Beefcake's comment. I mean, if you guys are just constantly just going back in, I'm not trying to spread hate to you by any means, but just a friendly encouragement. I mean, those prop firms are there to encourage you to keep gambling. I mean, if you can't really do it on a paper trading account, you don't have a track record. I mean, don't just keep buying challenges. They're taking advantage of you, regardless if it's 90% off or whatever. You need to be able to know how to do this in a live, proper paper trading account, and then move into a live account, not by a prop firm. Be able to create a track record there, and once you're comfortable with that, then you can move into a challenge and pass a challenge, and then move into the funded state. Yeah, and I think that's the main point. It's like I try not to emphasize, like, my streams are not about signals. It's not about me taking trades and you copying them. It's about the things that you gain from it. Like, yes, I understand that taking trades and proving that I know what I'm talking about, I'm doing, is important because they go hand in hand. I can't just talk out of my ass and not prove what I can do. But again, it's not the emphasis to take signals. It doesn't help you. And I know most of you understand that. You're here just to learn, which is good. So we're still residing in this lower portion. We drop down into this inefficiency here. So buy side above us, again, I would elect, right now I'm just standing on the sidelines and I'm seeing, can we get some higher displacement in here? If so, then I can probably be confident in starting to look for a little bit higher prices. Good, Tom. Love to hear that. Justin, I appreciate you answering the questions. Yeah, I'm not even looking at the viewer count. Apparently it's 700. If you can like the video, I would appreciate it. So look at that wick, man. Look at how much all the people that were really trying to chase this thing short. That's the reason why I'm being weary of it. It's very important. Patience pays you if you just let time do the work for you. Not that I've taken a trade yet, and not that that's significant, but I'm waiting for certain criteria to meet me. What did I say? I was waiting for this to close above it to confirm to me, all right, now I can really start looking to see if we can look for higher prices. And if nothing prints my model and nothing prints the entry pattern to target buy side, then I don't. What does it matter? Again, I don't really care what anybody else is doing. I mean, that's cool, man. Like, it's not a competition. Anybody that's out here live streaming, man, they got more balls than 95% of the industry. I don't think any of you really understand the pressure that you do feel live streaming. And honestly, I've come so used to it. I'm pretty accustomed now, but see if we can dig into this inefficiency here. Because it would be off of this inversion as well, right? So I'm triggered into my live account and the paper trading account. What I want to do is actually place this a little bit deeper, just due to the 5-minute inefficiency up there, or inversion. So I want to place it a little bit underneath the C of that, because that's the parent. Oh, CJ took a trade. Risking about 20 handles or so. So where would I take off a partial? At least at that inefficiency there. And we'll see what else. If it even works out. Right? Could very well collapse, go right to my stop loss. Oh, made it up. The dollar index has dropped lower. Higher time frames, inefficiency there. I'd prefer this to be respected and priced to propel higher. I mean, it could drop a little bit deeper, but the I icon is just liquidity, like really what I'm looking at. Trade taking, chat goes silent. Yeah. I don't know, Justin. I think it's the way you make the coffee. I don't know if my coffee pot. I mean, I'm not like not geeked off of it. Like I definitely feel the caffeine, but I don't know. I did Wim Hof this morning, so I'm a little bit more chilled out than usual. Geeking, bro. It's funny. Cracking me up. Akbar, usually like 2. 3's a little excessive. Then I'm just like kind of really out there. Yeah, probably gonna get stopped on this. I mean, it's gotta really respect. If you look at these down close candles, like in a series, it would be a bullish order block. But I understand the delivery of this week. I understand the things that are kind of outlined for us. Like the precision's not going to be there. If you haven't traded an NFP week, this is kind of what you kind of have to anticipate. So I'm not making an excuse by any means, but it's the reason why I keep my frequency low and things low, my risk tight. If it works out, that's great too. It's got to displace here sooner or later. I mean, it's taking a lot of time. I mean, dollar index is still dropping lower, so I wouldn't particularly want to short this. Again, that's the trade idea, the reason for it. I could place my stop loss beneath this low because that's the structure, but it's a lot of risk, right? I mean, I would have to risk 38 handles. I'm not trying to do that. Quickly get a banana. Yeah. I don't have a banana with me today, so maybe that's the reason why. Again, you have to think about the hourly candle and the amount of time left. Like we have 14 minutes left. Do I see this just rolling up to be a bullish candle? No. So I may have to wait until the new candle prints. A bit sus. I mean, I haven't been here. I eat a banana almost every day on stream, so I could see why that could be suspect. Yeah, I'm not worried at all. A loss to me doesn't mean anything, especially when, again, the frequency and the amount of trades and risk I've put on this week. This is the first trade of the week, so it's like I don't. If I put on 5, 10 trades already, I would be, you know, so invested into the trade idea. I don't. It doesn't really mean much to me. You could take a partial off above the high. It's just not enough. I mean, it's called running down equity, especially anytime you get above buy side. It's a good place to take a partial and pay yourself. I mean, from there it is 20 handles from the entry above the buy side, so it's a decent run. I just want to see how high. We're also, what I was annotating is if we get above that buy side liquidity pool, it could dig into this inefficiency there. So you want to pay yourself at every opposing liquidity pool and every opposing PD array. It's very, very crucial to do that. I get questions on partials a lot, and they're the number one thing. Partials pay you 100% of the time, so paying yourself is very crucial and very important. Yeah, thank you for the comments. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it sincerely when you guys do appreciate the stream. It means a lot. So from here, it really needs to run for the buy side. I wouldn't want to see it drop back into it. That would be something where I'd be like, all right, well, I might cut the trade loose. Time is an important factor to a lot of things. What in the world? I want to take at least one partial off above this high here. So at least you paid yourself. You did something. Eases the mind, eases the emotions behind it. I just took a couple partials off of the live account trade. Uh-oh. Quantower can be so buggy. Hopefully you guys are still here with me. Sometimes when I use my other platform, it just bugs out. Take another partial there. Stop smooth to break even. We'll see how far this thing wants to go. Quant Tower is not being friendly to me right now. Trying to edit this stop loss and it's just not, ain't doing it. Again, this is the lab trade. I already took 2 off. Oh, there's the position. There it is. Duh. I'm going to take one more partial off. About 40 handles in there. What do we reach? That was 50 handles. Reaching an opposing PD array, so I'm paying myself. I'm doing the right thing. Again, do you see the tonality that I'm having? It's very chill, man. When you wait, you follow your rules, you do the things you're supposed to do. It's just business. It's just a transaction. I'm not sitting here like a child screaming up and down. So all of you who've been waiting and wondering what I'm waiting for, what I'm doing, I mean, I took one trade this week and I've had a 50 handle run. In a good high probability model environment that was easy to see, easy to understand. I mean, I can't stress that enough. I do this every single week. It's not like this is new. Like if you're new here, then it may be new, but it's not new. And I'm sure people, oh, I love you, CJ, because I just, made the money and passed account or whatever. But I mean, it's not about the signals. It's about everything you learned before this trade was taken. Like that's the real part. Like if you actually learned why the hell I took this trade, why I'm in the trade, then you're doing the right thing. If you just took the trade blindly and now you're happy that I made you money, I mean, you're not doing things right. So when I leave, you're not gonna have somebody for signals. It's very important, man. Okay. Nico, it's funny. Franco, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, trading's definitely hardened my mentality over 6 years of doing this. I mean, but age is just a number, right? I mean, I don't mean that the other way, all of you slime balls. Tom, yep, I live stream every day. I've done it for the last 2.5 months. Not to brag or boast, but I've had one losing week out of 2.5 months. Find me somebody else who's on social media is doing this. There ain't. But so from here, I paid myself. I've done the work that was needed. So guess what? I get to move stops to break even. I can trail it at one point. It's too early to trail it. If I know that I can potentially reach up into this up here, then what I'll do is I'll trail my stop. I'm not going to leave it at break even, but I'll trail my stop to a low or to an inefficiency that I think is proper and good. And then if I don't reach up to the buy side, at least I was able to pay myself throughout the way and do what was right. I said, as far as like managing a trade, you can copy what I do, but if it's up to you personally, as soon as that trade's on, it's all up to you. But I talk about taking partials, protecting yourself, trailing stops, doing what's right. Because you're never, I don't know 100% if it's going to go here. I have no idea. It could completely collapse right now. But guess what? I paid myself. I did the right thing. Partials pay 110% of the time. It's not a question. I hope I have changed a lot of people's thinking of trading in these concepts. Because they see my patience, and some people bitch and they whine and they moan. Oh, you're not taking a trade, dude. All you do is talk. And these people are never going to be successful. They don't have an ounce of patience in their bones. But for me, I talk about if I'm able to just sit through a couple days where it's not really printing, it's not really there, but then I can come into a session like this, I can grab 50 to 70, 80 to 100 handles out of a trade. Wouldn't that be a better option? Just to take one trade through the whole week and just be done? And I run laps around these people that are taking 10 trades in a session. I mean, it's pathetic. Oh, let me go for a 10 handle run on an NQ and do it 20 times. That's absurd. Let me dial it back. I'm going to start talking shit. Again, I'm overly competitive. If you know me, I'm extremely competitive. And if I start tilting and if I start really being prideful, it's to the bad side. Ah, Jack, how was that? Jabbers, it's more or less speed or time. Like if you're going to be on side in a position, especially with these concepts, and especially if you're on a 1 minute time frame. I talk about journaling the time that each of your trades take to deliver from your entry to your targets. So I just know from experience that if it's meandering around a certain where my entry is, it should displace with energetic time and displacement. It should displace quickly, especially on a 1 minute time frame. It should take no more than 10 minutes to do so. From the entry point to when it started displacing is about 10 minutes. It's typically what I've journaled and what I've seen. If it takes longer than that, I'm probably offside or it's consolidating. Rista, I'd love to hear that, brother. Yeah, man. I think I have to change this real quick. You got to be careful with futures if you're newer to it. I know there's some newer students. If you have if you place a stop loss and it's 2 sell limits, or if it's 3 sell limits and you only have 2 contracts on, you have to make sure you edit that, because if it comes back to break even, it's going to stop you out at break even and put you into a sell position. You know, obviously don't want to do that. So I've done that a couple times. You got to be careful with it. What's up, Nico? What happened? Give me a sec. I gotta let my dog in. What? Is that code for something? What? That's awesome, Ben. The reason I know people are taking trades on my trades. I preferably tell them not to. It's the same thing as ICT. It's like you should be here to learn. I mean, I know you all want to take trades with me. It's cool, but I mean, in reality, you pushed the button. You did the job. I mean, I didn't push the button for you. Where the hell? I'm trying to look for something currently on my floor. So look at dollar index. Look at how much dollar index has dropped off. Do you see why I was not willing to short today? When everybody else was screaming short, saying, let's go short today. It's short, it's short. I was not falling for it. I know the experience to trust when dollar index is in sync. I trust the intermarket relationships. I trust what ICT's taught me wholeheartedly without a doubt in my mind. I never go against what he says, ever. Most of you take what he says and it's like, well, maybe he's kind of wrong, and then I just go against it. It's like, no, dude, he teaches these things for a reason. And there's nothing wrong with shorts. Wait, see what's up, brother? There's nothing wrong with shorts, like if you're able to profit. But then when we were down here at these lower portions, people are calling shorts. So there's no reason to do so. It's an easy, avoidable loss. Yeah, I'm gonna at least on my live account, I have 2 contracts left. I'm gonna hold this whole thing out for 100 handles. I'm gonna get the whole shebang. I'm gonna get the whole. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but you get the point. Just so the haters can't. Like, I still got 2 contracts of micros. Micros are paying $250. I mean, I took 3 contracts off it right around here. So overall, it's like a $500, maybe potentially more trade. Yeah, dollar amount shouldn't really matter to you. It's about the percentages and how much you can hold for, and etc. etc. So from here, guess what? We're trailing our stops underneath this inefficiency here. It should not return back to this inefficiency. So I'm going to do it on my live account as well. That way I paid myself. I'm trailing stops. I'm putting money into profit. It's a good thing to do. Yeah, micros are very underrated. This is a monster trade. This is what I've been throughout the last 2 months. I haven't been able to catch something like this, and I've been wanting to illustrate it for a lot of you. This is a really monster good trade. Excuse my language, but fucking beautiful. Beautiful boys and girls. These type of days, I'm a little bit more ecstatic. So that should turn into an inversion. So you're just walking it up into the drawn liquidity. If it starts collapsing, starts doing something that I don't particularly like, where it's just not wanting to go into the drawn liquidity that I'm looking at, then I'll start peeling off partials. And like, I mean, I've already done that, so, and I've already protected myself with moving my stop loss into profit by 33 handles. So here what I'll do on my live account is I'm going to demonstrate what I just did. Is I can see it's kind of obviously collapsing here. So what I'm doing is I took off another partial. My stop loss is moved into profit at the same level that the where the hell did this one go? Oh, again, I'm live streaming and managing two trades. It's I don't think you understand what I'm doing here. It's a lot. This is why, not having unrealistic expectations of holding out for the entire position. I mean, imagine you were in this position, you put your stop loss to break even, and it came back and took you all out, and you never paid yourself. I mean, that's just so poor, stupid management. I'm going to go for the full shebang, yeah. Like, I'm going to see if I can do it. But now, again, price. This is why again, like I don't ever really get that emotional. I won't even say that it's emotions, but things can change on a dime. Like at 1 second you see prices really trying to draw, and then things can change on a dime, and I have to change and make decisions, and there's nothing wrong with that. Guess what? I've already taken off 90% of the position. I've paid myself, so. So I'm observing is the 15-minute, the 1 hour, because guess what we've done? Even though I want to see this buy side tagged, we've gone up into this inefficiency again. So that could give price the ability to move lower again, especially if we're in like a very consolidational seek and destroy day. 4 hour inside of this, inside of the breaker. We're inside of this 15-minute, 30-minute inefficiency SIBI up here. So it's important to be looking at these higher time frames, especially if you're in a trade and looking at where price is trading, what's inside of. And if I can't get the whole move, do I really care? No. I've already made more money than I really need. I mean, all in all, still 40, 50 hand move. I just want to get that full move just so I can show it. But if I don't, then it is what it is. In all reality, on NQ, I mean, you could do 30 handles a week and be very profitable. Like, make really good money. I'd shoot for 40 to 50 handles a week. If you can do that on NQ, it's, you know, it's fantastic. You don't need 100 handle runs. Seeing Twitter before watching live stream is so jarring. What happened? Olivero. Love to hear that, brother. Yeah, keep believing in yourself, man. I mean, only way you could fail is if you stop doing this, if you just quit. Otherwise, to the day you die, at least you could say you kept trying. Why do I prefer NQ? It just moves a lot more fluid. It's just quicker, snappier. I like it overall better. Appreciate that, Ben. Yeah, and patience is not something that you can just learn. I mean, you can learn it through me. You can start seeing why it's important to be patient, why it's important to be still and wait for certain setups. But I can't give that to you. You have to learn that, like through your own experience. But more or less, patience is what? Patience is trusting. It's trust. When you're impatient about something, whether it's in life, whether it's trading, it all comes down to trust. You don't trust certain things. It's why you become impatient, become irritable. But I trust my setup. I trust myself. Even throughout the times, even if I didn't take a trade today, I would still execute my model. I would never deviate from it. You have to have unwavering belief and patience in your system. So rolling into the end of the silver bullet macro, I mean, we want to see how much more we can really push. But if you still have a position on, the best place to take a partial would be above that high there and above this high here. Natalia, thank you. Appreciate you being in here. We've been in here for a while, so I appreciate all the ones that have been here for a long time and supported me throughout the ups and downs of all this. $687, is that what I'm seeing? 687. Raheen, that's why you trade micros. If you can only do one micro or one mini, just do 10 micros. It's the best way to do it. That way you're able to pull off partials. I mean, unless until you can get up into like 2, 3, 4 minis, then that's fine. But just do micros if you're at 1 mini. That would be my advice, because at least you could take half a position off. But if you're on 1 mini, you can't do that. You have to collapse the whole thing. Like taking partials, it not only pays you, but it just helps you emotionally when you're in the trade. You're not worried so much. Yep, Nikolai, that's my daily logs. I go every single day, I review the session, I review the trade idea, and I give the explanation towards it. And do you see why I want to charge for a mentorship? Like, I've done this for the last 2.5 months. I've paid people, I've made people's accounts, I've passed so many challenges, I've taught you so many things. So if anybody comes here and say I'm not, eligible to charge for a monthly membership, I mean, you're out of your mind. Silent crew, Mantis. I got you, brother. Alan, long-time lurker here, student. I watched your video you posted last night mentioning how badly you wanted to silence the haters by snagging a 50-point move. Well, there you go. Yeah. I didn't even want to silence the haters. I just wanted to be able to showcase to the students, really. Like, I don't really care about haters. I just want to showcase to all the students that you can trust patience. You can trust these type of things to unfold if you just let it. Like, I don't really care about haters. They can screw themselves. But as far as students and me teaching, I want to demonstrate that so y'all can learn and trust it and be patient. To be honest with you, I already came up with the figures for it. I mean, I could tell you right now, I would do a 3-month membership where I'm probably charging $200 for it. I could do a monthly membership where if you just want to stay for a month, I'll charge $100 for it. I might do a 6-month one where it'd be a little bit more. It'd be discounted overall, but it'd probably be like $500. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, to be honest with you. I'm gonna charge for what I think my value is. And most of you pay $100, $200 for challenges anyways. So, I mean, if you're not willing to pay for education, that doesn't make any sense. If I saw somebody doing this when I was coming up, I would take my money. Take it. $1,000, take it. I don't care. I cared more about education than signals, but if I saw somebody legitimately doing this, then I would be like, holy shit. I'm not trying to brag or boast, it's just simply reality. How much for upfront? Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I want to do 6 months. I want to take it step by step. I mean, 3 months is, I know I can foresee myself doing 3 months. So I could even upcharge it more, and I'm sure people would pay. But I understand there's some people that are in hard conditions in life and they can't pay for it. And it's the reason why I've given free value. I've given all this for a good amount of time. If you can't pay for it, I mean, again, if you're in the business of learning this, you have to be willing to invest. I'm not trying to persuade any of you to buy it. I'm just saying, like, even me with ICT, I mean, I wasn't financially off at all, but I knew that if I paid for this mentorship, I paid for it, I could set myself free. In retrospect, I mean, $2,000 for the rest of my life. I mean, what's $2,000 to me? I mean, I got to learn all this stuff. Now it's paying me tenfold. So that's how I look at education. It's an investment. Oki, I just lifetime. I don't really know what that means. Because I'm not going to be doing this the rest of my life. Mago Mobile Gaming, thank you. What was the price? 200 for a 3-month, 100 monthly if you just want to be for a month. I still have to figure out if I want to do a 6-month or not. On a micro account, great question, Alan. Great question. I honestly recommend everybody should do that. I would recommend 5,000 to 10,000. If you have good enough, I think that's plenty enough. $5,000, you can be making 250 bucks to 500 bucks pretty easily on micros on a 5K account. Yeah, $10,000 account. I mean, you could. Depends on what asset class you're trading, whether it's ES or NQ. Some brokers they require more capital to trade NQ, so you may have to trade ES. When will this mentorship start? I don't know. I've battled with it. I've talked with close friends of mine, and I'm just being transparent with all of you. I mean, if you're new here, then it's going to sound like new news. I've mentioned this to all my audience the last 2 months, but I just don't know if I want to keep doing this the rest of the month. It just depends. I know there's a lot of new people that keep coming to me, so it's hard. It's like, in terms of business, it's like, well, am I potentially missing out on money? And even if new people, they come, they start learning, and they see this, they're like, wow, like it's actually helping them. So I don't know. I thought about doing it the end of this week. This was going to be my last week, but I don't know. I mean, I just hit all-time views this week, and I still want ICT in here, which has not done it. I don't know why. Yeah, Red, and I understand that, but I mean, I'm always a hustler mentality. If I saw the value in something, I would do any way to get the money. I'd sell. I'd start selling socks or something off the street to pay for education. Dark Ghost, no. I mean, if somebody's gonna pay me, I would be pissed off if I paid somebody and they're out there doing it for free while I just paid them. That's just if I'm viewing it from a customer standpoint. That's OnlyFans. Yeah, dude, I'd start selling feet pics. Fly Fisher, I know you've always commented on my Twitter. The other day I asked you if you're the person on Twitter because you don't have the same profile picture, but I went back and I actually saw it. But I appreciate it. You've always said that you've always been a huge support of me, even before all this live stream stuff. So I appreciate it. Digital Nomad, yeah, possibly, but he's commenting on every other live stream. I feel like so it is. I'm not no hard feelings, and I know he's going through a tough time right now in life. So Tanya's better looking. I would beg to differ on that one. I think I'm pretty gorgeous. This is the only trade I'm going to take for the rest of the week. Like, if the guidelines ICT has guided us to say, all right, on an NFP week, you should only be trading Monday through Wednesday. If I get a good trade like this on a Wednesday, I'm done for the week. I took one trade for the whole week. Why would I give back money on tomorrow and Friday when I've been advised not to trade it? And I've seen throughout experience, it's really not that high probability. It's like, cool, I was able to take one trade this week, be profitable. Boom. Like, if your boss told you, hey, man, you got a 4-day weekend this week, go ahead, take the next 2 days off, you're going to get paid for it. You'd be like, shit, yeah, man, that's awesome. But some of you, you look at trading through a different lens. Like, I look at this as a job. Like, I don't look at this as anything else. Yeah, money. I know it sucks. There's a lot of new students, but if you go back through all my live streams, man, I mean, I put out in the last 2.5 months so much value. I mean, the whole chat can talk for me if they've been here. SPX, no. I think this would be a Six Sister thing where I think NQ is going to want to follow suit with ES. It's going to want to follow suit. What did we talk about at the very beginning of the stream? What did we talk about the higher time frames? The higher time. Why was I looking for higher prices today? Even though we dropped off in the beginning of the session, everybody was chasing shorts. Why was I looking for higher prices? A, dollar index is dropping lower. I can't short index futures when dollar index is dropping off heavily lower. B, if you go out to the higher time frames, look at the weekly. What did we do yesterday? This is the parent. I'm thinking in terms of the weekly profile. This dropped into the bullish order block, which is the parent PD array, parent time frame. It dropped into it, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm coming into the session today thinking, all right, well, yesterday might have been the low of the week, which is a profile for a bullish week. You want to see the low of the week be printed in a higher time frame inefficiency PD array on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Happened yesterday. You go down to a daily time frame. What do? We drop down into this reclaimed inefficiency here. Bullish SMT at the lows with dollar index dropping lower. That is a bullish profile. That is signaling to me to wait for bullish signals. What do we do here? We were displacing higher. I was talking about the opposing idea of potential lower prices, but I didn't want to do that today with dollar index dropping lower. That was a huge, huge indication to me. created an inefficiency here, drop down into it, look at the bodies. This down close candle is a bullish order block directly at mean threshold of it, displacing higher. But CJ, we didn't take sell side. We discussed how this was bullish SMT. It doesn't need to take the sell side, especially when you're inside this area. We're inside of the weekly bullish order block, inside of the daily reclaimed fair value gap. Go down into the 1 hour. What are we doing here? On the opening session, we drop down into this inversion fair value gap here, displaced higher. 30-minute, same thing, inversion. I don't have it marked. 15-minute, same thing. Took out sell side, inversion fair value gap there. Resting inside of what? Look at the dealing range. From this dealing range low up to that high, that's your bullish dealing range. You're dropping down into a discount. Equilibrium sitting here, dropping down into a discount. So why would I be shorting in that condition? With everything I just mentioned, why would a short bias doesn't make any sense to me? But it's very intimidating when you see a large movement like this. It gives you the illusion, but you have to think in terms of smart money. This goes back to core content. You have to think in terms of the mindset of smart money. Everybody's looking at this with emotions, thinking, man, it dropped off. News event driver, I gotta sell, I gotta sell, I gotta sell, I gotta chase that. I'm not thinking like that. I'm thinking oppositely. What are they trying to do? Everybody's trying to chase this. They're going to counter it. What did I mention at the beginning of the stream? We had relative equal highs up here, which I thought could have been a draw on liquidity, but we dropped off lower. Still can be a draw on liquidity. We have yesterday's previous RTH gap. To confirm, let me just throw another thing into the fire. When we drop down into that, what are we doing? We're closing today's RTH gap. Anytime you do that, that's a confirmation that you're closing the RTH gap. Okay, now price can be allowed to move higher. We perfectly closed in the RTH gap, moved higher. So there's a bunch of confluences. When people ask about my model, what it is, I mean, I can't put it into one simple little video. Like, there's too much. Every day is unique. Every day has different profiles. It's not always going to be like this. So hopefully that makes sense. I mean, there's a lot more to it, and the daily logs is the reason why I do them, because I'll recap it and go over it all. Yeah, I'll just be tape reading tomorrow and Friday, and I'm sure there's going to be people in here stating, well, I don't understand why you're not trading. All right. G Chad, what do you mean by that? Yep, appreciate it, Dwan. Luke, very good. Love to hear that. Enjoy. I'm gonna get off. I mean, if I wasn't live streaming, it's hard to say. I would be trailing my stop, but I could be off doing something else. Like, I'm already taking 90% of the position off, move my stops into profit, so it's like, it's no worries to me. G Chad, I mean, yeah, you do have to understand, right, that there's a tons of messages. I'm also looking at the charts. So I appreciate it, G Chad. Like, if I read that message, I don't answer you. Like, I still read the message. I saw you sent that, but it's not a question. Like, most of you, I'll read your message, but if it's not really a question or something I want to talk about, then I'm just not going to talk about it. And again, if somebody asks a question I've already answered, yes, I'm going to make a video. I do daily log every single day. ICT showed a video 15 minutes ago showing a short. Yeah. Again, I just didn't find that high probability. This is where I talk about working within the narrative. I talk about trading within the narrative. So to me, being on side of the narrative is the highest probability thing you can do. What's your live stream timing? I live stream 15 minutes before the open every day. Will, you know that. Every day I post a video. Every day. Yes, sir. Vago, what's up, brother? Of course. What about the mac and cheese? Yeah. Yeah. And that with these concepts, like, it doesn't, if somebody shorted it, it doesn't mean they're wrong. It's just not my style. I don't want to be countering the narrative. So it takes a little bit more patience to wait for that to play out. Exactly. Read my mind, Flatwood. Said, yeah. I think that ICT means well with the way he teaches, because he's not pushing a certain style upon people. He's allowing people to mold themselves, but I push a certain style upon all of you. It's just my style that I push upon all of you, and obviously, if you agree with it and you like it, then you're going to use it. And I'm not saying it's the best style out there. There's probably way better styles, but I've found success with this. So it's just the way I teach is, through a lot of patience, looking at the narrative, looking at higher time frame, looking at intermarket relationships. Lazy. Appreciate that, brother. Here's what I will do is I'm going to move it even more into profit right underneath this inversion. And I don't even think it should drop into that. Like, this should be the last. I could move it underneath this low, but I don't want any wicks. So that's amazing. I love to hear that. Yeah. Should just be listening, learning. Dean, that's all right. I mean, it took me 4 years with these concepts. I mean, I'm going on to 5 to like really start get a grasp of them and really start to understand them. And social media is going to plague your mind into believing that you can be successful with these within a year. Unless you're an exception to the rule, you need 2 years minimum with these concepts. Probably even I would put 4 years on it, because it's not really the concepts. Like, it takes a long time because it is a lot technical science, but once you get it down, it's pretty easy. But as far as yourself, it takes a long time to figure out yourself. That's the hardest part. ICT stated, you may know my concepts, but you don't know yourself, so you will defeat yourself. You're the person looking these charts, these candlesticks. All I see is myself. I see all the flaws that exist within me. I see all my weaknesses. So I'm constantly trying to battle that. I'm not trying to go out here and be an all-star. I know very well I'm always one step away from being a jackass. Most of you think you're one step away from being an all-star. I know I'm one step away from screwing everything up. Accidental? Yeah, I hope that's a huge tell. People talk about market structure shifts, they talk about this and that, but this, waiting for this to close above it. I'm not getting in premature. I could have had an amazing entry all the way down here. But waiting for that confirmation is helping me, because this thing could have easily sold off of that. So waiting for that confirmation, closing above it, utilizing the CE, my stop loss, what I mentioned was going beneath the CE of the inversion on the 5 minute, because that's the parent. So once it reached into that, you have the 1 minute confluence, boom, bada bang, price expands higher. Everything else we talked about on the higher time frames, utilizing that. GChat, yeah, I always talk about higher time frames. It's the number one thing I talk about. I talk about narrative, being within the narrative. Which, again, ICT, when I was in his private mentorship, that's all he ever talked about. It's the reason why I talk about it so much. But as he's gotten more into publicly, he's elected just to teach on the 1 minute, because it gives a lot of opportunities, a lot of different models and practice. But if you don't know how to utilize the higher time frames, I mean, it's a detriment to you. And I don't think higher time frames are that difficult. I think they're fairly easy. Please tape read 1 day for an entire session. I've tape read. Look at yesterday and Monday. I tape readed basically the entire thing. I mean, that's tape reading in a sense. I didn't take anything. Look at back last week, Monday, Tuesday. What's your name? My name is Caleb. Exactly, Lazy. Yep. I'm excited to learn, but also overwhelmed by the abundance of things I have to learn. Yeah, I get it. It's especially even with ICT, it can be like a fire hose. He's just spraying at you. Even in the private mentorship, man, I was extremely overwhelmed. You guys think that the stuff he put out was long? I mean, dude, that dude would put out 4-hour videos every day, and I have to sit down and be like, oh my, I gotta put this thing on double X, and I gotta take notes on all this. I mean, let's talk about work and grinding. Like, that shit was exhausting. Yeah, I do have ICT's son's name, but I'm not his son. Your chart analysis is awesome. Love it. You can give away. Might have to clarify that. You're live trading or paper trading. I'm live trading. This is the live position. I just have it on a different platform, so I've already taken 90% of the position off. So if you're new here, yes. I just do the paper trading so the audience can see it. I don't enjoy Tradeovate on TradingView, so. I mean, there's bearish SMT at the highs here. Prices inside of a higher time frame, bearish inefficiency, it could sell off. So it's the reason why we protect ourselves, pay ourselves, and I'm putting my stop loss and profit at a logical level to where I'm not choking it super soon. I could have put it at this low here, and it very well could stop me out of profit, but I know to me this is probably the last point of interest. And I've been in this trade for I don't know how long. A minute now, probably about an hour. So to be honest, I'd rather be stopped out in profit and just be done with the session. One serious question: what's the sequence to watch ICT's videos and learn to become a profitable trader? I would start with the 2022 mentorship and then work your way through other playlists. He has a video over. It's called "Join ICT's Mentorship for Free," and that way you know which ones to watch in order. But oh, thank you. So hopefully you guys were able to learn today what I gotta collapse my live position. Hopefully you're able to learn today how to take partials, how to protect yourself, how to be within the narrative, etc., etc. There's a lot to it. If you're new here, I always do a daily log that covers the entire day, covers the entire trade, so that way you're able to see everything, all the business. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be it for today. That's the only trade I'm going to take for the whole week. I'm content. I'm happy with that. I don't need to do more, especially on an NFP week. Hopefully you're able to learn how, if you're patient enough, you could just wait for one setup a week, and that's all you need. One shot, one kill. That's it. So appreciate all of you being in here. If you're not already subscribed, go to my Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Like the video if you haven't already. And that's going to be it for today. Until tomorrow, good luck and good trading, everybody.